This is your current positions on the league table. Whoever gets the top points will go top of the table. The idea is to try and get them engaged from day one and take ownership of the work, and part of that is actually having this competitive element within the coursework.
Gavin Bowyer harnesses pupils' natural desire to compete against each other to improve coursework results.
This time, this week, if you look at Dan's, he's in 7th now. He's gone up 9 places just because he's added in 1 sheet. So if you do nothing, and somebody next door is doing more work than you, their league position is going to go up and you're going to drop down. So, there.
The head of faculty at Biddulph High School in Stoke-on-Trent gets a pass rate 30% above the national average using his system.
And we've sorted it.
But are such good results achieved at a high cost? To make his system work, Gavin must mark every piece of work within 24 hours of it being handed in, a daunting target. And some may ask whether pupils at the bottom of his league tables will simply lose interest.
So if I put mine up again.
I think we have to say his strategies have engaged and motivated his pupils so that they want to succeed in technology and in graphics. And that range of strategies, not one strategy, but a range of strategies, together with a relationship with pupils, together with expectations, ethos and support, results in those standards.
If you look at that, yeah.
Gavin's monitoring and tracking system allows pupils of mixed ability to compete with one another on a level playing field. It's the same principle that's used in sports handicapping, like golf or horse racing. Pupils are awarded points for completing their coursework to the best of their ability and within a time frame. These scores are entered into a class league table, which is regularly updated with pupils competing for the top spots. Full details of Gavin's tracking system and how it works are available on the Teachers TV website.
When I first came into this school, it was a bit like a baptism of fire. I had a group that was renowned for its poor behaviour and a lack of motivation. And I was struggling to try and get these students focused on the work and take ownership of the work. And I thought about introducing some kind of competitive element. And I brought in the league table and the monitoring and tracking. And it did interest a number of students, and they were actually very much engaged in what their league table position was. The idea itself actually came from when I was a child, really, and taking interest in football results and league tables and statistics, and that's really where the interest came from.
In the initial weeks of Year 10, Gavin starts by introducing the GCSE class to what is called an effort and attainment matrix and the all-important league tables.
In the effort and attainment matrix, it takes into account the different abilities of the students in the class. So it's a mixed ability class, so we will have students who have been put on an A grade, some students who will have a target grade of a B, some students who will have a target grade of a C. But these students will be able to compete with one another by having the same type of point score to go for. So if a student who's a C grade student manages to get a C minus or a C, they will get the same point score as a student who's on an A grade. If they get an A minus or an A, those scores then will be put onto a league table. And each week as we go along, students will be collecting points for each sheet that they complete in their coursework. And every fortnight we will update the students on their progress with their point scores, with their current grade against their target grade, and looking at their league table position and seeing how much effort they're putting in or not putting in, as it may be.
That's fine if you're top of the table. What happens if you're a pupil at the bottom and the whole class knows it?
It is a difficult thing to actually balance, because there are some sensitive students in the class who may take exception to seeing their grades up there, but students have been nothing but supportive of the actual grades because they take pride in what they've done. And I think because they're engaged with the process, and to see the tracking bar chart up on the wall, and they can actually see the results of the work that they've done, so we can identify areas of weakness. It has to be done in a very sensitive way. It's often done on a one-to-one basis. Students will seek their support from either their peer group, or they will come and see me to get that support that they need. with an escalator, you've got steps, haven't you, that move.
So, like, just have it shaped like an escalator?
Yeah, that side, that's one side, that's another side. So it's like another box, really, or a net that slots together.
In the early stages of Year 10, pupils are given an aspirational target by Gavin. It's based on their Year 9 performance, a number of tasks set, and a Yellis test, which pupils sit in the first weeks of the GCSE.
What about colouring? Do you colour it?
This target plays a vital role.
Let's find out what I think your target grade should be. This is the big reveal. That's what I've set currently for your target grades. They can only go up or they can stay as they are. So I can see some of you looking at, oh my God. The point of giving them a target grade is to motivate them, to give them a chance to improve work, to actually think about what they need to do to improve their work, to engage them in the process of assessment. I want them to take ownership of their work and also the assessment procedures. In today's lesson, I was actually getting them to make judgments about other people's work and what grades they are deserving of. And obviously it's an assessment for learning opportunity for students to get engaged with the process.
One of the techniques that we've had to adapt as a school, and which Gavin, I think, personifies, is breaking down the curriculum into small, tangible sections which pupils understand and identify, so that it's not in 2 years' time, if you do this, you'll get a grade B in technology. It's each separate, almost week of work. This section of work, you'll need to do this, and I will grade you and give you bonus for doing that well. And the pupils can see that. The other really interesting feature of his work is it's visual, and the pupils have a visual interpretation of their progress, which is updated regularly, and that motivates them, and they're engaged in that as well. They're part of that. They actually complete the bar charts themselves, and it's on the wall. They can see how they're doing.
For the system to work, Gavin's set himself the onerous target of marking all completed coursework within 24 hours. Surely a huge workload.
What I'm doing here is exactly what I'll be doing at home, basically. I mean, if I left at 3:15, I'd still have that work to do at home. And the work can be marked here, and the students, if they want it, they've got access here till 5 o'clock, so they can have the work there and then. They could have it within 24 hours, they could have it within a couple of hours if need be. The system's less labour intensive, really, because what I do with the actual electronic mark book is I enter the names once and that's it, and enter the target grades once. And the only thing I then put into it is the actual grades that they've received or the improvement grades that they've put in. So it does save an awful lot of time. I used to do it by hand in the beginning, and I used to do one league table every term because I had to do it out by hand. As soon as I got the laptop, everything changed. As soon as I punch in a grade, it figures out the scores, it figures out the calculations and the positions. So it saves an inordinate amount of time to do this. And to have the laptop is critical, really.
Gavin believes strong links with parents are key to sustaining successful coursework.
I do send a letter home to parents on a regular basis. So if we have students who are particularly struggling with certain areas of the work, then a letter could be sent home on a weekly basis. It could be even sent home on a daily basis. But I tend to usually do it every 3 to 6 weeks. It's a very simple, straightforward process. And of course, it keeps parents informed of the current progress of their son or daughter. And if there's any problems, they can phone instantly to discuss issues with me, which is often the case. What I do like is to phone sometimes the parents to say how well the students are doing. And I obviously negotiate with students. Sometimes you're doing really well. When's a good time to actually phone your mum or dad, or would you like me to write a note in your planner in order that, you know, I can congratulate you on how well you're performing. So those are the kind of things I use as well to motivate the students. The reaction from parents has been nothing but positive. I've even had complaints when the A-level students started, why aren't you doing this system for the A-level students? Obviously you listen to this advice and these opinions, and so of course we brought the system into the sixth form as well.
I think we always emphasise with parents that the most effective partnership is 3 ways. It's pupil, teacher and parent. And the more he can do to engage pupil and parents, and the more the parents can understand the course and understand what's required and when, the easier it is for them to support their child.
But at some stage, pupils are likely to start falling behind, or will fail to get their work completed on time. So Gavin's introduced what he calls the penal system.
What I like to do is to avoid giving students detentions. So what I usually do is introduce the penal system to the students and explain to them If there is one sheet missing, you will have to make up the time in your own time of 15 minutes or complete the work and hand it in. So they have a choice, complete the work or come in after school or over lunchtime to the department and complete the time that's owing. So if they're owing 3 sheets, we would say 45 minutes is owed to the department each week. If they're owing 20 sheets, then you're looking at over 200 minutes in a week. And we've already said to them, well, the department is open for over 700 minutes in the week, during break times, during lunch times and after school. And I will be here, or a member of staff will always be here in order that they can be supervised and they can be seen and supported as well. So I want you to think carefully. It's the beginning of the week, it's Monday's gone, Tuesday is here, first opportunity to come in is tonight. For some of you, tonight is it. Break down how much time you need to do each night in order that you can get rid of this time.
What's been the response from pupils?
From year 10 till year 11, it has been a lot of work to get done. Thanks to the tables and the tracking sheets and everything, I have been able to keep up to date and keep track on what grades I've got and what I need to improve in. And yeah, it has helped.
The league table's good because it's competitive and you can like race against your mates to see who can get more sheets in.
This is the best for managing coursework, definitely. It's got more like tracking charts, it's got more help, it's got more after school things. So it is a lot easier than the others.
In Year 11, when some students need further support, Gavin recommends the pairing process.
What we do is we sit down with the students and they help to support one another with my support, and then we agree a plan of action in order that they can actually complete the work with their own set deadlines, which they feel is manageable and which they feel as though they can achieve their target for each individual theme that they've got to complete in the time that they've set. And look at where your current grades are and where you've got spaces. So if you've got gaps, then you've obviously got to prioritise those sheets in order that you can get the grades that you need to.
The days that Mr. Berry isn't available, I can talk to Jordan after school and get the help.
We wrote down what the high priority sheets are we needed to complete, and those are the sheets that will give us the higher grades, and that gives us a target, and if we don't meet that deadline we can talk to Mr. Berry about why we need to improve it.
It's really good way of working rather than just depending on the teacher.
Could the system work in other areas?
It applies to any other subject. As far as I'm concerned, you've got to do assessment. It's part of your teaching role. You have to assess students' progress. It doesn't matter whether it's English, maths, science, PE, whatever. You can actually record students' progress. You can put the competitive element in to get them engaged in the process of learning and trying to improve the standard of the work. So it does cross over. What I want is students to actually talk about the work. And if this is one way that they can talk about it and take ownership, then all the better.
The obvious success indicator is the high examination results, particularly at GCSE, where the department is achieving up to 30% above national expectations. And when we had an HMI subject Ofsted inspection in the summer, it judged it as an outstanding department. And the quality of teaching was outstanding, the quality of learning was outstanding, and by implication the techniques used there were very effective.
Okay.